Namaste, everyone. I am back on our channel after a long gap, longer than I expected. This was meant to be more regular. When I started this journey now almost 18 months ago when I started this channel, the whole purpose of starting this was to connect with fellow seekers, seekers of truth, seekers of Shiva, seekers of those spiritual truths that can make you connect with your true self. For me, this is not just any regular channel that I have created just to create content for likes, shares, and the money that YouTube gives. That's why you will never see, or you would have never noticed, any kind of sensationalization or provocative thumbnails where I just want you to click on this video just to like, view, share so that I can make money. That was never the case, and that will never be the case ever in future. For me, this is very, very personal. For me, this channel is the work that I am doing for Shiva, for truth. The whole purpose was to show light to all those who are in darkness, to help all those to see deeper truths that can awaken their soul. But then man proposes and Shiva disposes. That's why I took a break, or maybe Shiva made me take this voluntarily, this break from this channel, so that I can process certain truths that I have realized in my journey. Those truths that no one talks about. So, yes, I am back on the channel, this time with deeper truths, not with any mundane knowledge, bookish knowledge, not with any information. Internet is already overloaded with so much of information. There are thousands of books on spirituality. I mean, there's nothing new that I can offer you. That's why when I was making those videos on whether it was on Upanishads or related to Sanatan Dharma, deep inside, I was questioning myself that what is the truth? What is the new that I am offering to people? Because if you could have transformed your life, if you could have reached to the state of God, reached to the state of Shiva by reading Upanishads, by reading Purans, by reading any kind of scripture. I mean, if you are a Christian, if you can reach to the state of God by reading Bible, I mean, why then so far no one has reached that state? So let's talk about real truths, deep spiritual truths that no one talks about. And I promise you, these deep truths have the power to shake something within you, just like the that shook me inside. Yes, it shook me so deeply that it took me a lot of time to shed all that I had learned so far. So, spirituality is a journey of not learning, but unlearning. And for me, this has been a long journey of unlearning things that I have been fed by the society. I've been programmed just like everyone else is programmed. The real truths are raw, are uncomfortable. They are not the sugar-coated ones that we are fed. So what's the first spiritual truth that society doesn't talk about? That dharam gurus of any, I mean, when I talk about dharam or guru, I mean all. I'm not talking about, I'm not pinpointing any single religion. So, what is that first spiritual truth that's been hidden from humanity since the beginning of religions? And that first truth is that God is. Whether you call him God, you call him Ishwar, you call him Almighty, you call him consciousness, because these days most Western philosophers talk about consciousness. So let me use that word. Somewhere I do relate with that word, that God is consciousness. Chit, Chetna. Shiva is consciousness. So this is the first truth, that God is, but not in the ways that we've been told that God is. Not the way how we have imagined God to be. God is not how religions have told you that God is. God is not how he has been described in books and scriptures. No, that's not how God is. God is beyond religions. So the first truth, as I said, is that, and that is for both believers and non-believers. The very reason that the non-believers, which are atheists, we call atheists, are atheists, because the society has given us a very false image to God. And that is why one makes you, at some point in life, one makes you question. And the beauty about Hinduism was, to a certain extent, Hinduism is also changing, which I feel is not good. The beauty was that only in Hinduism, God was supposed to be realized, not to be blindly believed. That showing one image of God and asking your followers to believe it blindly, that was not at all how Sanatan Dharma's philosophy on God was. The sages, the rishis, the munis, they discovered the mechanism to realize God. So God was supposed to be realized, not blindly believed. That is why Sanatan Dharma promotes inquiry. You inquire the truth. You realize the truth. You just don't blindly believe that has been told to you. But as times changed, as religions evolved, changed, the whole mechanism around God has changed. Unfortunately, God today has been objectified. And somewhere we all are culprits. We all are culprits because we have objectified God. God has been made into an object for our convenience, for the convenience of religions, for the convenience of society. You have simply made God an object. Just look at, I mean, you don't have to go anywhere else. If you don't believe me, just look at your, YouTube timeline. Just look at the kind of thumbnails that YouTubers, that the content creators, they use. Just look at those thumbnails. And I'm, again, this is across all the religions. But I'm not happy the way within my own religion, Hinduism, the way Ishwar, God, Shiva has been objectified. We have made God into a commodity and we are selling that commodity. And that is a bitter truth. People don't really realize this, but the fact is that you've been sold this false lie since centuries. There is no difference between Shiva and you. There's no difference between God and you. You are part of that universal consciousness. Let me explain you. Have you ever thought that this entire world, this entire earth, if we talk about this single planet where we live, that is earth, and this has been divided into different nations. Earth hasn't divided itself. We humans have divided the earth. There are some 200 odd nations, less than 200 odd nations, and there is, I think, 8 billion plus population. I'm only talking about humans. We are some 8 billion plus. And then there are millions of other entities, other species, animals, insects, nature, everything put together comprise of the world. And this entire universe is made by one single consciousness. So we are all part of that one single womb, that cosmic womb. That is why Shiva, that is why Shivling is known as a cosmic egg, the cosmic womb from where everything has originated. We all have come from there. So there is actually, at the spiritual level, there is no difference between us and the others. There is, whether you are a Hindu or a Jew, a Muslim or a Christian, Sikh or anyone else, there is no difference. It's humans who have divided all of us. It's humans who have divided us in different religions. There are some 12 odd prominent religions and about 1,000 small religions. But if you look at it, there may be many divisions in them, but the single most truth is that they all have come from one single universal womb. So there are no multiple gods. There are no thousands of gods sitting somewhere up above the sky and watching us. So do you really think that there are multiple gods sitting and controlling our lives? This is one lie that we've been fed. This is one lie that a child has been fed, that there is X, Y, Z. No. There is only one single God, one single consciousness, and that is universal. And you can give that consciousness any name, because that consciousness on its own has no name. So the second spiritual truth is that the God has no name, absolutely no name. God has not given himself any name. You have, we have, religions have given God a name. Religions have made God into an entity. for their own benefit. I mean, they have created these entities. God is a title. When I say Shiva is God, Shiva means auspiciousness. The word Shiva is a Sanskrit name, and the meaning of that word is auspiciousness. So, what can be more auspicious than the universal womb from where we have originated? When we call Shiva Vishwanath, which means he is the one who has created the entire universe. When we call Shiva Ashutosh, which means that he's all, he's for everyone. He can be easily pleased by his devotees. But the point is that Shiva has not given himself any name. You have given him the name. The truth is that there is only one single consciousness. That is all. From there, everything has come, and there everything dissolves. And the very reason that you are not being able to connect with God, everyone wants to connect with God. The whole thing about spirituality is finding your true self, finding your inner self. And your true self, your inner self is soul. And there is no difference between your soul and the universal soul, because you are part of that universal soul. You are not the wave, you are the ocean. There is this very beautiful sutra, in fact, the opening sutra of Shiva Sutra, which is Chaitanyam Atma. What does that mean? Chaitanya means Chit, meaning consciousness, is soul. It means, and what is soul? What is Atma? What does Atma means? Meaning mind. So it means that consciousness is soul. And it also means that there is no difference between consciousness and your soul. So there's no difference between Shiva and you. There's no difference between God and you. It is just that you've not realized God. And religions don't want you to realize God. True. That's a fact. That's another spiritual truth that I want to talk about. That why it is necessary. You must have heard from so many spiritual gurus that there is no difference between Atma and Paramatma. Any authentic guru will never ever say that God is outside you. And any authentic guru will never ever make you worship him. Because the real God, the real guru is inside you. And the religions don't want you to realize this truth. Because if you realize this truth, you are not going to follow them. And this entire concept of religions is based on divisions. All the religions. I'm again not pinpointing any religion. All the religions. They just want to divide you. It took me a while to understand this. And then I thought to myself that no wonder anyone who realizes this, any enlightened master, the first thing what he does is he leaves the religion. when I say leave the religion, doesn't, I mean, you can't really leave the religion, because you're born. You're born, unfortunately, with an identity. And till the time you are living in this world, the sansar, you are given that sansaric identity. But yes, the principle of spirituality is that once you have realized your true self, you will transcend all the other identities. That is why enlightened masters, they, if you ask any enlightened master, what is your religion? He will say humanity. He will say he may have been born in any religion, but once he has realized his true self, he knows that my soul has no identity. So the 8 billion souls, 8 billion plus souls, have no identity. They all have only one single identity, that is, they all have come from one universal consciousness. Not just human souls, but animals, reptiles. We are all part of single universal consciousness. And as I said, that religions don't want you to realize this truth. Because the moment you realize this, the first thing that you are going to do is you are going to be out of their clutches. Because they have programmed you. That is why every religion wants to catch you young. If you look at it, every religion wants to catch hold of a child at the time, I mean, of a tender age, when he's 5 years, 6 year old, because it's very easy to program the child. Christians want you to believe Christ is the king. Same is the case with Islam, that only Allah is the truth. Unfortunately, Hinduism is also now slowly and gradually following that path, where if you are a follower of Krishna, then for a follower of Krishna, only Krishna is the truth. I mean, that's not how Hinduism was. Hinduism was supposed to encourage its followers to realize their truth. That is why Upanishads talk about Parabrahma, the supreme entity without any name. The God has no name. We have given him all the names. God has no caste. God has no race. Everything has been given to him by us because we have objectified him. Because religions want to use that object to build their own cult. Because if there is no object, you need an object to build a cult. If there is no object, how will you build your business? How will you build your cult? That's, unfortunately, that is a single truth, that you need an object to build your cult. And you are using God to build your cult. And this is the reason that people in their lifetime are never able to connect with their true self. I've heard from so many people saying that we are not able to connect with our soul. We don't know what soul is. We don't know even if soul is there or no. I mean, I smile and think to myself that how poor they are in their thinking. Because the fact is that there is nothing called whether soul is there or not there, because you are the soul. The outer body that you are wearing is not real you. This outer physical body has been given to you by others. You've been given this body by your parents. you've come out from your mother's womb, the physical body that you have, it's been created by her and your father. And after it comes out, this body develops, this body grows by the food that you eat. So this becomes the food body. It's simple. This is your food body. Stop eating food. Stop eating food for 20 days. See where this body is on 21st day. It will collapse. There will be nothing. The real you is the soul. That is your real identity. And everything else that you do is for your food body. You're living for your food body. And that's the mistake that everyone does. Even I was doing that mistake till the time I realized that no, this is not my reality. This outer body is perishable. How much ever I may try to protect this outer body, this is going to perish one day. How much ever I take care of this outer body, this is going to perish. That's a reality. That's a hard fact. You have come here with an expiry date, but your soul has no expiry date. But unfortunately, we never realize this because society doesn't want you to realize your soul, because they know the moment you realize your soul, the first thing that you will do is you will leave all the lies that you've been fed. That is why for an enlightened guru, an enlightened master, or anyone who has progressed on his spiritual journey, who has realized his soul, first thing the person will do is will shed all his identities. For that person, there will be no religion, no race, no caste, no nationality, no borders, no divisions. Because the person knows that there is no difference between me and the others. There's no you, there's no two, there's only one. So you are also me and me is also you. And that is the biggest spiritual truth, that there is no difference. If there is no difference between me and Shiva, that is why we say Shivoham, that I am Shiva. Shiva can only be realized. And how can Shiva be realized? Shiva can only be realized by becoming Shiva. Because you are part of that universal consciousness, that universal womb. So Shiva's essence is there within you. You have to just realize that. And the moment you realize that, you know there is no difference between me and the other person. And the moment you realize this, I mean, you can't really hate anyone. And the society, again, thrives on hate. This is how religions thrive on divisions, thrive on hate. Because, as I said, they want to build their own cult. They want to grow. They want to grab power. They want to have numbers. Look at what's happening around the world. There's so much of chaos. There's so much of divisions. There's so much of hatred. Why? Again, because of attachment with our individual outer external self. The divisions are because of race. The divisions are because of color. The divisions are because of religion. Within religion, because of caste, nationality. And the truth is that we are all one. So the purpose of this video, the purpose of restarting this journey with deeper spiritual truths is to shake up something within you. That, I mean, I am going to talk about only raw spiritual truths that can make you question all that is false. Because until and unless you'll shred the false layers that you have covered yourself with, you will never be able to reach your true self. I mean, if you are someone who is looking at searching the deeper meaning of life, if you are someone who is looking at knowing the deeper truths about life, about existence, about your true self, about your true identity, about your soul, and about Shiva, I am going to talk about only raw, powerful, deeper truths that can really shake that inner soul that is within you. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I will try to be as regular as I can. And yes, I wanted to share another information with you. As I told you that for me, this channel is a medium. This is not just a YouTube channel that I have created to generate money. I mean, there are hundreds of those channels. So anyone who wants to connect on this channel, it is only for building this community of truth seekers. So my request is that if you like or if you agree with what I say, then please do connect with me. Please do share these videos with your friends or family who you feel can benefit from this. I personally don't believe in marketing this spiritual content because, again, for me, this is something very, very personal, something very, very, close to my heart. So so you won't hear me marketing my videos. So my request is that if you like it, you can share with those who you feel that can be benefited by connecting on this medium. Another piece of information that I wanted to share was that for Hindi, especially for my Hindi viewers, I have created another channel for, and that channel is slightly different. I mean, on this channel, we will be talking about deeper spiritual truths. And I have created another channel with the name of Dil Se with Sadhvi in Hindi. There we'll talk about everything about our day-to-day life, because again, spirituality is not just about being, see, spirituality has been made into some external project. And society thinks that if you are a spiritual person, then you cannot exist in the material world. So I really want to break this myth. Spirituality is being real. Spirituality is living your authentic self. Spirituality is when you live with authenticity, when you live through your soul. Your soul speaks through you. Because whatever your soul will do, whatever your soul will speak, will be truth. And when you are spiritual, then it shines through you. Because when you have connected to your soul, and soul is pure, and remember what I said, soul is consciousness, and that consciousness which is part of universal consciousness. So then you can never walk on the path of that what is not truth. So on my another channel, Dil Se with Sadhvi, we will be interacting on day-to-day issues. Of course, we will also be talking about spirituality, about yoga, about mental health issues, about everything, about relationships, about why marriages are not working, but in Hindi. I actually thought that, uh, on this channel, I am kind of creating a wall between myself and the Hindi viewers. So for Hindi viewers, I have created another channel, Dil Se with Sadhvi. You will find the link to this channel in the description. So please do connect through Dil Se with Sadhvi. If you are looking at content in Hindi, I think that will be a better medium for you. Thank you so much. Om Namah Shivaya. We'll connect again very soon. Thank you.